This is going to be fun. We had a yeah. We finally got through what is referenced as the holidays. So this week is going to be the first week where we got uninterrupted by a holiday. So it gives us a better idea of kind of where the business has is sitting over the last like 3 weeks. It seems like a long time, but I guess it's only been 3 weeks. But with Christmas in the middle of the week and New Year's right in the middle of the week, it kind of gave a wonky midweek. So we ended up giving options to both of our we gave options on days to work for both Christmas and New Year's. So um, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day were off by default. And if the cleaners wanted to work on Christmas Eve, they could have worked. So we would give the option. I think that we had on Christmas Eve, I think we had like 4 or 5 cleaners who actually worked on Christmas Eve. And we only worked not super long days. And then on New Year's, we had New Year's Eve, actually everybody was on, and then New Year's Day was optional. And I think we only had one cleaner who actually worked on New Year's Day. And so that kind of throws off well, how good is our business doing when all of our cleaners are not working on certain days? And then even to go on top of that, we had cleaners who, had requested time off on top of those days because they were out for the holidays. So last week was our first week back where we had no holidays, and so we have a general idea about what's happening in the business as of right now. So that's exciting to see as we get into January. We have a nice little run of uninterrupted work days. So now the only excuse we have while our business didn't grow is not it's not Jesus. It's not Jesus having his birthday or the year coming to an end, next year starting. Like those are no more excuses. Now it's us. We are now the problem if the business doesn't grow. And so that's what we're going to share today is this business going to grow? Is it going to grow? And so a lot of you guys have been on here very consistently. So super appreciate you guys. The Janessas, the Justin Joneses, the Bethany's. Man, you guys have been here on every single call, right? It's really cool to see. And so you guys have watched us literally start this business in March with one customer, Ryan Overcash, right? It was a guy at the gym, and I see him occasionally still, and I'm just like, I look at him and like, thank you much for being our very first customer. And Katie went and cleaned his dirty home and made it nice and sparkling, right? Um, and so yeah, we started with a $400 a week, and now, while it's not a PR week, it's our second best week we ever did. And so it's crazy. It's crazy to think that when you do the right things for a long enough period of time, you end up getting the result that we're all looking for, which is growth, right? So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to walk through the vision sheet. Look at that. We're on the right week even. Cool. Okay. Katie, can you see my screen? Oh, Katie. Oh, yeah. It was like the other Katie, James.
Yes.
James is impersonating Katie. If you guys want to know why there's two Ks, James is impersonating Katie. All right, guys. So, Mesa 5-star cleaning week number 44, I believe. Let me see. 44. Yeah. 43. Let me just double check this. Yeah, let's just say 44. Week number 44. How exciting. So, projected monthly revenue. So, as of 1/10, so last Friday, our projected monthly revenue for the month of January is 54,600. That's what's on the books as of right now. So it went up about $5,000 from the week before. So that is pretty cool. It's growing. Our revenue to monthly revenue to date is 22,957, so almost $23,000, which is really cool because I did the math on this and I was like, Katie, if we just do the same week that we did over the next 3 weeks, that'll put us, well over $65,000 in monthly revenue, which will definitely be a PR of collected monies. So it's pretty cool. And weekly revenue, again, while not a PR, it's the second most we've ever done by a long shot. So if you guys can search back over here from 3 weeks ago, the week before Christmas, we did 16,920. Definitely the best week by about $2,500 as a PR. So it was a huge PR. And so to see that we hit $16,000 last week, again, while not an actual PR, very, very excited about that number. It is, yeah, it's the second most we've ever done, and still, like before that, our biggest was 14.7, I believe, was a big PR. So it's definitely a big increase, which means that we're growing, right? We're growing. So outside of the 2 weeks here, you can see between New Year's week, was this week where we did 11,000, and then Christmas week we did 7,000. The 2 weeks between that are PRs. So that's really cool to see. That's exciting. Um, Recurring clients goal. So goal is 175 recurring clients, and we're at 135. And so this number is starting to grow. Again, I talked about it last week, and I was like, I'm not going to be upset if we just grow by two, because I just look for progress. I'm just looking for us to make, just to be moving forward. And as long as we move forward, I'm happy. So if you look over the last 4 weeks, though, we went from 127 to 135, and so it's good. Again, as long as we're moving forward on these recurring clients, I'll be happy. And then weekly total cleans, 67 total weekly cleans. That is one shy of a PR. So again, 3 weeks ago we did 68. So 67 is the second most we've ever done, which is crazy. Katie, do you remember when we did the very first week? How many cleans did we start with?
One.
Like I said earlier, Ryan Overcash, clean number one, and so it's cool to see that, if I search back here, guys, I'll do it for you because it's easy to see on the sheet here. Back to 3-4, 310, like right here, number of cleaners one, number of total weekly cleans one, revenue $400. Like wasn't that long ago, 43 weeks ago. That is how this thing started. So, um, I think a lot of times what I've realized is that the longer timeline I have, the less pressure that I tend to put on myself, and it makes me less emotionally impulsive, less volatile, and I'm just able to make better decisions when I am able to have a longer timeline. And so I think it's always good to have that gain mindset of like just look how far we've come. Like 1 year ago, this thing didn't even exist. Didn't even exist. In January 13th, 2024, this business wasn't just an idea. Just an idea. And 44 weeks later, it just did $16,000. And it had 67 cleans. It served 67 different humans in 1 week. It's crazy. Crazy. Revenue per clean, we did $239, which is above our 225 number. So this number actually has gone up over the last couple of weeks. So again, our Christmas and New Year's week, you guys can see, was a little low. Little low. How low can you go? So to see this number come back up to 239 was really cool to see. All right, and the number of cleaners. So our number of cleaners actually dropped last week. So we dropped from 15 to 13. And really, this number, as we get down to the bottom, you guys will see this number is a little skewed because we actually had one cleaner who was just off the week, so extended vacation, I guess. So we technically have 14 cleaners, but one cleaner just didn't work last week. And then weekly average cleaner hours is 22. And this number, while again it looks low, our best cleaner, and I can say that with data, the one with the most reviews, who's got the most perfect attendance, has been with us the longest, has the most recurring clients. She worked 5 hours last week. Because why, Katie?
She had norovirus.
She was pretending to be sick. She was faking it. She was faking it, right? And so, yeah, so she only worked 5 hours last week, and this was funny. She somehow through somebody I had heard that she was afraid that Kate and I were going to be upset with her because she called out. She called out on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. I think she just worked like one house on Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things wouldn't have happening. And so somehow I heard this. I can't remember who I heard it from, but I ended up sending her a message inside her WhatsApp chat, just letting her know. I was like, hey, like if you're like if you called out, I know that you feel like shit. Like you've proven your toughness. Every time that you don't feel good, you're like, hey guys, like just so you know, I'm not feeling great. Um, so I'm gonna power through, but I just want to let you guys know. Like she said that to us just like she said that to us a handful of times, and like she's never ever called out. This was her first call out, and she's been with us since April. She's our longest standing employee for this business. And so when she did call out sick, I was like, girl, you proving your toughness. Like just take some time, get yourself better. Like you good, you good. And it was really cool for us to have that opportunity to be able to do that because you know what, we had flex on the schedule. We had enough cleaners that we could actually do that without us, the business, being punished, or I should say us being punished, like without it being a punishing thing that we gave her the opportunity to like stay home sick. And so again, one of the reasons that you want to have enough cleaners is to protect yourself for when cleaners do get sick and they can't make it to work. Like, it doesn't also negatively affect the business. Despite our best cleaner being out for the entire week, outside of 5 hours, the business still grew. And so I can be like, Jocelyn, you good. You good. I've been doing the work back here. I've been hiring all these people to protect the business for if you do get sick, get yourself better. Get yourself better. And so that's the other side of having enough cleaners is you also protect your cleaners from having to work all the dang time. Okay. So 22 average cleaning hours. And then a total assigned cleaning hours is 289. And so again, this was a second close to a PR. Our biggest we've ever had was 325, which is the week before Christmas. So overall, we made some progress. So let's talk about this here. So revenue. So Katie, if you don't mind explaining to everybody how we bill versus how we receive money, because I think sometimes people get confused by why we track both these numbers or
Yeah,
why we track these separately.
great question. So we bill the day of the clean. Most of the time, our clients pay the day of the clean. However, even if they pay the day of the clean, there is a lag in when it hits our bank account. So the credit card processing company has to process it and then wait a few days, and then it drops lump sums into our bank account. So we measure billed versus collected or received so we can see the discrepancy if there is one.
What about all those? What are those hooligans who pay with cash or check? Those
Oh, those
crazy people.
hooligans, they're silly because they have to make then the business is dependent on me actually going down to the bank and depositing the money, which definitely doesn't happen as frequently as it should.
No, no. I'm always on Katie, like, hey, go put some cash in the bank. I want to look rich. Come on.
No, I currently have 4 checks right here, just
Katie's
waiting
like, no,
to
no,
be put in the
no.
bank.
I'm gonna use this cash and go buy some Louis, so it doesn't show up on the credit card statement. This is free money. This is free money. Yeah. So, as a small business owner, I remember the advice I was got from other small business owners was like, you want cash and checks. You want cash and checks because you don't have to claim it, right? And I was very fortunate to have smart people in my life relatively early on, where they're like, dude, your time to be able to go deposit those and to be able to like take tr take a account for like cash and checks, like your time is better off just paying the credit card processing fee. And the reality is, here's the truth, Logan. This is from my first mentor. He used to pay me money. I was a personal trainer and he was my client. So he used to pay me to, and I used to get advice from him. He's like, you know the difference between tax avoidance versus tax evasion, Logan? And being the naive 25-year-old first year in business owner, I was like, no, tell me, please. He's like, tax avoidance just means you're a bad business owner. Tax evasion, the government will put your ass in jail. He's like, if you evade taxes by not claiming income, they can put you in jail for that. By avoiding taxes, like saying saying this is an expense, like expensing your car payment or expensing your house payment, like that's just called tax avoidance. And you won't go to jail for that, but if you get audited, then the government will just say you can't claim that, and then the money that you saved by expensing it, well, you just have to pay it. You won't go to jail for tax avoidance, but you will go to jail for tax evasion. And so that was a really early lesson I learned early on. So like, I don't mess around with going to jail. I'm not going to be sit in a jail because I did not show the government my money, right? So when it comes to showing money, I show 100% of it. I hide 0% of the money I make. Now, the tax avoidance standpoint, that's a conversation. That's a totally different conversation. So can't go to jail for tax avoidance, but you can go to jail for tax evasion. Figured I'd share that with you guys. So, cash and checks. That's what we're going on there. So, yes, we use a software, a CRM called ZenMaid to bill clients, and then we receive it through QuickBooks. So, last 30 days revenue. So, again, this number is pretty cool because this includes, Katie, do you know what the cool part about this one? This includes Christmas. Crazy, right? And New Year's. So, last 30 days, we have billed $63,000.
That's amazing to
So
see. I like that.
yeah, over the next couple of weeks, we'll continue to see how we lay out. If we can keep this number again between 63, 65, that will show us where we're going to end up at the end of January, right? So current month revenue is 23,000. This week revenue is 16,000. Initial clean revenue. So we have $6,000 of recurring, and then 10,000 was occasional slash reoccurring money. So that's actually pretty good reoccurring. It's a good reoccurring week.
A great recurring week.
Yeah. So this right here is a cool number to see. Like the bigger this number gets, then the more consistent your business is, the more consistent your business is, the more you'll like your business, right? The more you like your business. But Katie, how do you grow your reoccurring?
You have to have them as an initial clean first.
So it's like you need both. It's like you need the initial clean revenue in order to build the reoccurring. And so to see both of them at a reasonable dollar amount is actually pretty cool to see, right? 6,000, pretty cool, right? 10,000, pretty cool to see. As long as we're able to convert people, then eventually that reoccurring will continue to stack and stack and stack. And then, yeah, one day you'll wake up and you'll have $1 million business in just reoccurring. Is that possible, Katie? Is that possible?
Yes.
Have you ever seen that happen before?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So if you guys have not got on the road to 300K call, if you guys are inside the community, that call is tomorrow. Definitely get on that call, and you guys will see a business that uh, does $1 million in reoccurring every single month, right? And in this case, every single week. So that's the goal. We're trying to get the business to a $19,000 in reoccurring revenue every single week. That's the goal. Okay, so let's talk about QuickBooks. So collected money. So we've collected 61,000 in the last 30 days. So again, pretty cool to see. Monthly revenue 21,000. This week's revenue 17,465. And then less than 7 days, we have $3,400 outstanding, and in greater than 7 days, 791. So pretty normal. Nothing crazy to write home about there. We do a pretty good job of keeping our outstanding invoices low because what Katie said earlier is that we collect credit cards on all those initial cleans, and then we just charge the cards on the same day. So that's able to keep most of our stuff down. And the only thing that usually is outstanding is if we have checks and cash that the cleaners have to bring. So we only have the cleaners come to our office once a week, and that's today. We have a team meeting on Mondays, and they bring their cash and checks with them. So if they go to a clean today, as an example, and a client gives them cash or check, they hold on to that money for the entire week, and then we just notate it. It's like, hey, Andre has money, Kayla has money, and we put it on. If you guys can see behind, you can see is that Alaya back there? Alaya is back there. She's writing on the board. She's probably writing down all their sales numbers that she have back there. But on the other side of that board, you'll see that there's actually you cannot see because it's very very small, but there's a little part that says checks, and so that's how we keep track of the checks as well. And that's again, while checks are a pain in the butt. If we could just say no to checks and cash, I would be such a happier human, such a happier human. But what about all the fees? Oh my. Okay, discounts. Let's talk about discounts here. The 10% discounts. We gave away two Google review discounts last week. So Jackie and Jennifer, and then 100% vouchers. So we ran $100 off deal last week to try to fill some schedules. And looks like Andrea took it. Oh, and I saw her name today. She became a recurring client. That's exciting. Yeah. So this is really good because this was a comment that somebody made. I think it was inside our community group the other day, and they were talking about how these people who take these offers, they don't tend to become recurring clients. Do you remember that, Katie?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So why is that? Why isn't the avatar who takes a $100 voucher, why do they have a less probability of turning into a recurring client?
Well, they're looking for a deal, and then the recurring is really close to what they paid on this first time clean.
Yeah. Yeah. So the point of the voucher is like, is it a nice to have that we have the opportunity to turn them into a recurring? Is it a
Say
nice
that
to have?
again.
Is it an option that the people who buy these $100 vouchers that they could potentially turn into a recurring client?
Yeah, absolutely. Better
But
than
is that
nobody sitting there.
but is that the problem that they're solving? Like, why do we
No,
actually send the $100? Why and what problem does it solve?
the voucher, when we send a discount, it just fills the immediate schedule. We have an immediate problem of having too many cleaners with too many open schedules.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's the problem it solves. Now, in this situation, as we scroll to the bottom here shortly, we'll see that Andrea did in fact turn into a recurring client. And so it doesn't happen very often. And so the goal is not to turn these discount people into recurring clients. Like it's an expectation that we have let go of, just because it's not reality. Because what Katie just said, like it's just really close what they're already paying, and so like people generally just buy good deals. But it does happen sometimes, and that's why you just always got to keep shooting your shot. Because eventually, if you shoot enough shots, it appears like you got lucky. Okay, let's talk about marketing, external marketing. I like that. I don't know who did that. Did you do that, Katie?
Yeah.
Good. I like that. External marketing. So, ad spend. There's two places that we advertise on. Okay, Google local services, not to be confused with Google Ads. I think sometimes people still, when I say this, I don't do a good enough job explaining this. Google Ads, different than Google local services. Google Ads, very expensive. Google local services, still expensive, but less expensive. Google local services, high intent to buy, high conversion rate. Google local ads, um, low, low. So Google Ads is high cost and low conversion, which means that it just doesn't make sense. It's the reason why I don't recommend it. Like 0%. Kitty, why do I not recommend it? Is it just because I'm talking in theory? Just talking my butt?
No, because you've paid Google Ads lots of money with little
Oh,
to no return.
yeah. Yeah. We've had to define lots, but yes, I spent 6 months investing $400 or $500 a week on it. I paid an expert, as they call themselves. I'm an expert. Listen to me. I'm credible. I have. Oh, bye, Leia. Bye, Leia. I am an expert, and I paid somebody money as well to try to teach me Google Ads. And all that being said, the results were not impressive, right? I was like, why don't I just do Google services? I don't have to pay anybody any money, and I made money right away. Like in month one, I made money on Google services, and it's way simpler. So I just decided to go that route. So for all you guys who have the shiny object syndrome and the grass is always green on the other side, like I want to get this, I want to become an expert marketer, right? I want to be on the internet with like I'm an expert. Do you go do Google Ads? But the problem you run into is that your lifetime value for your customer ain't high enough for you to pay outrageous marketing costs. Like just the truth of the matter, right? It's the same reason why you can't be on TV. You don't your lifetime value of your customer ain't high enough. Unless you can have a customer be worth $10,000, good luck. Good luck. Okay. So that being said, Google services, different than Google Ads. We spend money there. And then Facebook. Okay. And not just like boost your post Facebook. Okay. Actual Facebook ads, you have to create a meta account. There is a process. Okay. So we spent $1,200 there, and we spent $1,500 last week. Okay. So a little shy of a $2,000 a week goal. However, we got 77 Facebook leads. Dang, Katie, good job. 77 there. We got one Facebook Messenger, 7 Google local services, and look at that. Woo, woo, woo. Look at those homepage leads. 12. I haven't even seen this yet. This is great. 9 incoming call leads. We got 106 leads. $18 a lead.
That's epic.
Good job. Good job. Good job. So that's cool to see, right? That is cool to see. So you can make money. You can make money. You get 100 leads a week, under $20 a lead. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. So now let's talk about sales. So sales. If you are going to get leads, you must be able to convert them. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much money you spend. Doesn't matter how good your lead cost is. Conversions is the game. And so last week we had 14 spots unfilled. I like that number. That's a nice number. There's some wiggle room there in between 10 and 20. As of my current understanding, that's where I like it to be. And there's 54 spots open. This is actually super exciting. This means that we have some room to sell. We have some room to sell. So I like this. And so last week, Emma was one of our cleaners, also is our part-time office person, was out last week for the entire week. So she was the one who I was referencing, still on the team, just was out on an extended vacation. So Megan Kazaya did 419 calls altogether between the two of them. Between the two of them, we had 33 scheduled quote calls, 23 showed, 53 performed, and out of those 53 quotes that were performed, 30 booked. 30 booked, right? So for a projected quote call revenue of $10,133. Katie, what are your thoughts on that?
It's a great week. I'm totally okay investing. How much was the marketing ad spend in its entirety? $1,500 to put $10,000 on the books.
Yeah. Yeah. So that number is pretty cool to see. So again, 2 weeks in a row, we hit over 30 sales. Last week we did 39, and this week was 30. So again, the conversions is what matters the most. So like, I love marketing just as much as the next person, but I can tell you what I love even more is sales. I love converting them. I love turning those people who raise their hands into people who we shake hands with and do business with. Like, that's the game. That's the game. And not only that, but then look over here, Katie. We actually had 6 of those people who turned into reoccurring clients for a total of $1,500 in projected monthly revenue.
It's great.
Yeah.
So next month we'll have an additional $1,500 just sitting there and recurring.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you do that, let's just multiply that by 4 as an example. That's an additional $6,000 a month that you start the month with. Like, that's how you build a business, guys, is that this month you start with $50,000 in the books. The next month you start with 56,000 on the books. The month after that you start with 62. The month after that you start with 68. The month after that you start with 74. The month after that you start with 80. The month after that you start with 86,000. You got $1 million business. But I don't want to wait 9 months. That seems hard. I want to have it now. Do it now. I can't wait that long. I can't be consistent that long. I can't do the work for that long. It's hard. It's hard, right? That's just my inner voice yelling at myself the whole time, right? Like, it ain't easy, but this is what it takes. This is what it takes, right? So, sales, pretty cool to see, right? That's why the business is growing. That's why we started at $400 and now it's at $16,000 a week. Okay. Now, let's talk about cleaner acquisition. So last week we had spent $369 on cleaners. We did this all on Indeed. From there, we got 16 applicants. We had 10 phone interviews scheduled, 7 performed. Out of those 7 interviews performed, we pushed 5 to Zooms, and all 5 showed up, right? And then we hired none of them, which was interesting. I guess none of them meet the requirements. I'm actually not part of the hiring process anymore, so Katie, you'll have to probably speak to that a little bit more because you're the one who's yaying and naying people now. So how come none of these people got hired?
I think 2 of them got offered and they both declined. So it looks as if 0 were hired, but 2 were offered and none accepted.
Okay. Well, there you go. See? Thanks for having Katie here because she knows things. And, I don't know things. So it's cool to see. Sorry, guys. You guys are watching me fix this right in front of you guys. I just got to fix this. There we go. Make it look pretty. Okay. And so right now we have 3 cleaners in training. So Ashley and Jennifer are scheduled to start this Friday at onboarding. Megan graduated this week. However, interesting story just happened this morning with her. We don't know if she's going to be here much longer. People are so funny. People are so funny. And then Nicole P, she might have been here last week, but her official last day, she came and gave her stuff back. So we really thought this was going to be the first person. So we haven't had anybody in Mesa not return their stuff. But Katie, from our first location, Bozeman, how many people have not returned their stuff? How many $500 kits have we lost? Have we got stolen? People like just took away our kids' groceries that week. How many people did it? How many? How many of these evil humans?
Definitely more than I can count on one hand, but I don't know the exact number.
Yeah. Anyway, it definitely happens, right? So expect it to happen. Expect it to happen. And it's just people doing what's in their best interest. That's all. But I thought Nicole P was going to be our first one, but she did bring it back. And so one of the ways though we've helped mitigate this, some things that we've learned that you guys can maybe minimize the amount of create a system that it incentivizes people to actually do the good human thing, which is give your stuff back, is we've started to hold people's last checks. Now, depending on what state you're in, I don't know if this is legal, so this is not legal advice. I'm just telling you what we do, is that on someone's last check, I'm sure this has to be legal because you can always give paper checks. is just
It's
have
not
their
it's not
last.
holding it either. So
Yeah,
we just say you can come pick up your last check today. Just return your supplies with it.
thank you. That's much better terminology. We do not hold a check. We just say we have your last check in print copy. It's at the office, which I believe is probably legal in every single state. I don't think direct deposit is mandatory in any state. I could be wrong. So again, I will say that in the two states that we do business in, and as far as my knowledge is, for the people who I coach and work with, I have never heard this as being a rule, but I'm not saying that it's not. So this has helped tremendously give us some leverage that people will bring the stuff back because they want their last check, right? And usually the bigger the check, the higher the incentive. But even with Nicole, the reason why I was like, I'm never gonna get it back because Katie, you printed it out. Like, I think her check was less than $100. Maybe it was even less than $50.
It's $49.
There you
She
go.
still
So
wanted it though.
still wanted it. Exactly. It's like you want this more than you want this cleaning supplies. I promise you. Promise you. You can't do nothing with these cleaning supplies because you the no customers. You got to get the customers who's going to give you money to clean. So just give us the stuff back. We'll give you $50 as an example. So that, guys, is super helpful. It's a great way to incentivize them to bring your stuff back. Is to just say, "I have your final paycheck waiting for you here at the office. Excited to see you." Okay. So here's our cleaners. So we have Jocelyn, who I was talking about earlier. She was the one who's our top cleaner, been with us the longest, and she was sick. She had, what'd you call it, Katie? The Norton virus?
Norovirus.
The norovirus. All right. She was sick with the norovirus. Anyway, she's a stud. Someone I have a lot of admiration for. I have a lot of admiration for hard workers, right? I don't care what you do. Like if you're a hard worker, respect, right? And so I have a lot of respect for her. And so when she was sick, I was like, girl, you good. You have shown, you have proved your toughness. I got you. Alyssa, also a hard worker. And then Taylor, Kayla, and Tiffany, hard workers as well. Asia, yeah, she was also sick. And then Amanda and Nikki and Michaela, Alex, and then Emma. So again, you see here Emma, she was out last week. Andre, he's one of our newer cleaners, but someone who we're super excited about. Super gets a lot of good feedback from the clients. Got a lot of recurring clients, and just like one of those good personalities. And he's the first guy we've hired down in Mesa. And so with Bozeman, we have quite a few guys. You guys can see there in the background. BJ and Elias. So BJ was a cleaner for us for a while, and then he moved into the office. But I think we have I don't want to say quite a few, but I think we have 2 or 3 guys in the team, and like all the clients love them. So guys definitely can be successful in this position. However, if we just look at math numbers, like a lot more women have been successful in this position than men. So like also just don't be like, well, men are equally as successful in this business, and that's just not the case. Like you need like men can be. You just got to find a special guy. Like that's all it is. Like just from the number standpoint, like you need a special guy to be able to be successful in this position. That's it. So I definitely recommend putting your focus on the people who have the highest probability of being successful, but it doesn't mean say no to somebody who doesn't fit your exact criteria. That's how I am going to talk about the difference between like do I hire guys or not? Because that's always that's a common question I get from people, and I will say that guys can be successful. Just understand that like girls have women have shown to proven to be successful more times. That's all. And then Trina, 10 hours, and then Sadie and Megan. So Sadie is also, I don't think Sadie's in training actually anymore, right, Katie? That should not be this anymore.
No, she's out
Okay,
of
cool.
training.
She's out of training. Cool. So we can just get rid of this, say Sadie's not in training. And then Sadie has been with us, I think this is her 3rd week. And Katie, how many reviews did Sadie get last week? Actual,
Well,
yeah.
she got 9 total reviews, but
In
4
a
of them
week.
were yeah, every single clean she went to, she got a review, which is ironic because at the team meeting last week, she was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable asking, like to take somebody's phone and help them.
Yeah. And
And she got a
what did
review
we
at every
do?
single clean she went to.
What did
We role
what did
played.
we do? We say it again.
We role played with her.
What does role playing mean? Because I don't think everyone understands what role playing is.
She acted as the client and I acted as the cleaner, and we walked through how to appropriately ask somebody if they need assistance in leaving a Google review. And
Okay.
it was
So
obviously very successful because Sadie took it and she got 9 Google reviews in a week.
yeah. Some of them didn't count, which we'll talk about here in a second. But anyway, I think it shows two things, right? It shows the power of a team meeting. This was all done at a team meeting, and it also shows the value of role playing. Okay, and so two things. So team meeting, a long time. I remember this conversation, Katie. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but Katie and I once went to a conference in Vegas, um, and we brought our office manager at the time. Her name was Mackenzie with us. She was the very first person that we had brought into the office, and we were sitting there having dinner in I think it was the Venetian, um, at the what do you call that? Like the fast food court. Do you remember that? And we were
Hmm.
sitting there and we were talking about the team meeting, and we were just like we're talking about should we have a team meeting? So at that point we had tried team meetings, but then we had stopped doing team meetings. And then we were talking about like, should we do team meeting? And then if we do a team meeting, like what frequency do we do it in? And then do we do it via Zoom or do it in person? Do you remember that conversation?
Hmm.
And so it was, yeah, it was like September of 2022, and we weren't doing team meetings. And I was like, I'm not sure about any of these questions because I don't really know why we're doing the team meeting. I didn't understand. I didn't comprehend like why. Like I had done team meetings in our gym business before, and I somewhat understood the purpose behind them, but I didn't really know what the purpose was. And so we stopped doing the team meetings for our cleaning business until I we still until we understood what problem we were actually solving with the team meeting. And so when we started Mesa, as an example, we finally understood exactly the value of the team meeting. The value of the team meeting, number one thing, was an opportunity for us to build a community of trust with the owners, the office, and the cleaners all in one spot. Okay. And when it comes to different formats to do team meetings, we could have chosen between in person and a Zoom call. Really, those are really the only two options you can technically do team meetings in. Technically, you could probably do a conference call, I guess, but for 2025, it's either going to be in person or Zoom. And so we chose to go for in person because we understood that an in person touch point is a you get more points, you get more love, you create more connection in person than you do over Zoom, like plain and simple. And all of you guys who have been in person with either KDR out to a decade a day, or you guys have ever done in person events, like there's an in person component that cannot be replicated behind a Zoom. Okay, and so because we had that option, we chose to do in person. Now the second problem that it also solved was that our cleaners need supplies, and you guys can see behind Katie, like all of our supplies are in the office. And so the cleaners have to come back and restock anyway. So why not just make it one time where they can come and they can restock their supplies, drop off their dirty rags and towels, grab new ones. And so now we're solving two problems. We're solving a community problem, and we're also solving a, in order to do their job well, problem, like fresh tools, supplies, and rags and towels and mop heads. Now, the third thing that we ended up discovering that's also been super helpful is what we just talked about. Now we're able to train our team. We're able to train our team every single week. So when we have issues in the field, we have things that we're having problems, we use it as an opportunity to train. So training isn't just 2 weeks. It's not just like now you're in training for 2 weeks. We train every single week. So when we have problems that happen in our business, how many of you guys have problems in your business? Raise your hand. If you have problems in your business, raise your hand. The, here's a secret: the more problems you have in your business, the bigger your business you have. Okay. And so how you can help solve problems is by training. And so we use the team meeting as a weekly training. So anytime we have problems, which we have problems every single week, we're able to train during this team meeting. Okay. And so those are the three big problems that a team meeting solves. Now, there's other things that can also solve, but those are the three main things. And so that's why now, like we always do team meetings, and we will never do a team meeting ever again. So we will ever not do a team meeting ever again because we have now understood the value of it. So if you're like, I don't understand team meetings, that's number one reason why is you want to build community, you want to build trust with you, if you have office staff or and your cleaners to build that trust, and in-person connection builds trust. Okay. And the second thing, it solves the problem of like how to do their job well, supplies. Okay. Everybody runs out of supplies, everyone runs out of rags. And the third thing it also does is you can train them. So when you have problems, you can use that as an opportunity to help them and make them better rather than being frustrated and be mad at them for not doing it right the first time. expect them to make mistakes, be proactive about it, and then help them at the team meeting. Okay. So we had 13 cleaners who worked. Okay. And we had 289 cleaning hours. And so we averaged 22 hours for the week, which means our actual man hour rate was $55 an hour. So again, Kitty, if you don't mind sharing, like, what is this number? Like, why is this number important? This actual man hour rate.
Yeah, so we actually charge $65 an hour for deep cleans, and we actually charge $57 an hour for maintenance cleans. So you think that you're going to obviously take home what you charge, but in reality, when you provide discounts or you make adjustments, the actual man hour rate incorporates into the equation all of that. So it basically just takes all of the hours your cleaners worked and all of the money collected, and it finds what your actual hourly rate is that you charge.
Yeah. Super, super important, right? And the higher this number is, who does that benefit?
The cleaners, the more your cleaners make.
Who else does it benefit?
Me, business owner.
Who else does it benefit?
You.
Yeah. So does it help the office as well? If you have office staff, does it help them as well?
Oh yeah, it pays for them as well.
Exactly. Right. And if they have any incentives to grow the business, then like charging more will help them get there to their goal faster. Right. Okay. Correction cleans. What the heck? We got no correction cleans last week. Disappointing. Disappointing.
Wow, we didn't serve
Disappointing.
enough.
Didn't serve enough. Didn't serve enough crazies. Should have tried harder. Okay. Cleaner fulfillment. We did 6 1-on-1s last week. So this is the value of having two people doing 1-on-1s. And so the structure that we have right now is Keziah is doing the 1-on-1s with all the new cleaners. And then I'm doing the 1-on-1s with all the OGs. And so yeah, so eventually I'll be phased out of doing 1-on-1s. Or maybe I won't. And I'll be happy to stick around doing 1-on-1s if our cleaners stick around longer. Again, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. This cleaner won't leave, so I got to keep on doing 1-on-1s. So frustrating. Go away. So I don't have to do a 20-minute 1-on-1 with you once a month. So this is actually really good. I thought about this a little bit yesterday, and I think that this has happened accidentally, but this is my goal for moving forward, is make this happen on purpose. Is that I only want to play games that when I lose, I win. I only want to play games that even when I lose, I win. And so if the worst case scenario is that I have to continue to do 1-on-1s because freaking Alyssa and Kayla and Tiffany keep working out our dang business, they keep working hard. Dang it. For me. Right? And I believe a lot of games can be played that way and has less and there's a little bit of art to it, but there's a lot of repositioning your thought process around it and expectations. And so this is a new thought, so I'm processing it right now. But I think this is something that one day will be really helpful for a lot of people, is to only play games that when you lose, you win. Okay, let's talk about weekly cleans. We had 67 weekly cleans. 19 of those were new clients, and then 48 were reoccurrings. Okay, 0 correction cleans, 9 Google reviews. So actually, I think this number is 7. Oh, sorry, it's number 7 actually. And the reason why, Katie, we talked about this earlier, but we had to take some reviews away. Why do we have to take some reviews away from Sadie? She got 9, but she only ended up with 5 that counted. Why is that?
She was asking people who had already left Google reviews. So they kindly updated their Google review, but they did not leave a new Google review. So the company has already taken 10% off for that client and paid out the $10 tip. So
Yeah.
they were revised reviews instead of new
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah, I was going through and I just started laughing. I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. And so again, it was one of those instances that we use the team meeting as a training. So we let everybody know, here's what a revised review is. Here's how you can spot a revised review. So that way they can also look at it. So that way they know as well. So that way their hearts aren't broken when they're like, oh my God, I got a review, but it was a revised review, right? So I taught them how to find the difference between the two, and then share with them also an alternative to if a client does want to leave another review, how they can do it. Okay, so show them how they can continue to win. Because again, we're not paying you because like we're greedy. It's just like we've already paid the money out. So here's how you can go get the $10, and we just show them the way. And so for anybody who's inside the coaching program, I just re-updated the 5-star reviews training. So if you guys see here, Katie, how many reviews do we have right now?
346.
346. And we've been in business for 44 weeks. So if you guys want to do math, that's cool, but I've already done the math. That's 8 reviews every single week, which means that we're averaging 1 review every single day. If you think that happens on accident, it don't. Okay. It's very much happened on purpose. And so if you want to know that process and follow it to a T, it's in there. But one of the things that's also in there that's updated is talking about, well, what do you count? Like, what do you pay out to cleaners and clients? And what do you not pay out and clients and cleaners um, for the Google review to count, right? Towards Google review bonuses. And so that's all updated in the class reviews training. So make sure you guys go in there. I spent a lot of extra time on like asking a lot of FAQ questions on here are the different scenarios. So there's a lot of different scenarios in there. And when you have 346 reviews, you run into a lot of these situations, right? And just as a side note, our first location has, I think, 260 reviews as well. So like altogether, we're knocking on the door of almost 600 reviews between the two companies. So we ran into quite a few of these situations, and we're just from experience here is the solutions to some of the problems you're gonna run into as you start getting reviews. Because guess what? You want new problems. You're gonna get new problems. You don't want to have the same problem over and over again. I'm broke. I got no money. I can't pay. I keep on getting overdraft fees. Like, stop it. Go get some new problems. Seriously, go get some new problems. I have too many cleaners to fill schedules. Yes, that's the freaking problem you want. Go get that problem. I have too much money. I got to pay so much in taxes. Ah, yes, get that problem. Such a better problem to have. Get bigger problems. Get different problems. You can handle them. You can handle them. You have to.
But the comfortability of the known problem is much, much
Yeah.
better, Logan.
Yeah. And if we just understand it from like the reason why we choose the comfortable problems is that that's what we know. So like we're used to it, but you will like logically, if you just continue to do the same behaviors, get the same problems, like you'll get the same outcomes. And so if you do want new outcomes, like growth in your business, you want to double your business, you want to triple your business, you want to quadruple your business, you want to have $1 million business that nets $20,000 a month, you got to go get some new problems. Okay. Which means that you can no longer be broke. You gotta have the rich mindset. And it's a mindset first before it's actually in the bank account. It's like, no, I'll be rich when I get money. I'll start giving when I have something to give. Not how investing works. You must invest first. You must give first. You must have the courage to go first. Only with the opportunity that you might get the outcome. It's not even guaranteed. That's why this game, only 9% of businesses ever make it to $1 million. Only 9%. So, and that's the reason why. Courage. Okay, so we had 2 canceled recurring clients, and then we had 6 new recurring clients. And like I said down here, I was talking about her earlier. This Andrea girl was one of the people who we offered the $100 off to, and she ended up turning into a recurring client. So the cleaners did such a good job that she called us as the cleaners were still there and was like, I want to set recurring. These girls did amazing. You can do that. You can do that. And so that's where the $1,500 of new projected recurring money came from. And then last week, this number is actually one of the lower numbers that I've seen in a long time, but we only had $2,000 fall off the schedule. So it's pretty cool. And it looks like we charged one person, Andrea. We charged her a cancellation fee. So yeah, pretty exciting. I think that, you know, as we continue to do the right things for the long period of time, we continue to take credit cards, we continue to remind people of our cancellation policy, and we continue to charge people when they fall within the 48-hour time frame, less people will cancel. I think that's just how it works. It's just being consistent. Katie and I, we just talked about this today. Like, how important is consistency, Katie?
Yeah, this was a really, really cool conversation. And I think consistency is the most important thing in growing a business, in becoming a better human. Because when you are consistent, you can stack skills. If you're not consistent, the stacking of like the Jenga pieces, if you will, there's no foundation to stack upon. So it just crumbles when it gets to a certain height. And then you just rebuild to that certain height and you rebuild to that certain height without consistency.
Yeah. I was talking with Jessica and Lucas on our one-on-one right before this. This will be talked about a lot. I was just like I was sharing with them why they have grown um, to the point that they have thus far, and why I believe that the realistically they will probably continue to grow. It's just because of what Kay just said is like they have been so consistent with like stacking skills. Like when I first came in, Lucas was all about marketing. He was like geeked about marketing. He was like trying to like do like split tests, and he wanted to like optimize like different offers even. And just so you guys, like Lucas and Jessica, I think they they've been like my first uh my first follower from another cleaning business standpoint for sure. Even they didn't run the free cleaning voucher for a very long time, right? They ran, I can't remember what the offer was. It doesn't matter, but they didn't run for a very long time either, or in the beginning. And then eventually they're like, let me just try this thing. And they did some split testing, something, and like it outperformed the existing offer that they were running. So all of a sudden, Lucas is like, okay, I can become a marketer now. It's like I'm about marketing. He cared about lead costs, and then all of a sudden he learned how to sell. He's like, whoa, converting sales. This is actually where it's at, right? And then he was like, whoa, now I don't have any spots. So then they had to learn how to hire people and hire people quick. And then once they learned how to hire people quick, while they continued their marketing system, while they continued their sales system, then their business went like boop, it hockey sticked because they stacked skills. But just the marketing skill alone, the business didn't grow that much. Just the sales skill alone, it grew, but like not that much. But once they put the marketing, the sales, and the recruiting together at the same time, boop, it hockey sticked. And so just for you guys to understand this, like it's never just one skill that's ever going to make your business take off. But you know what it is? It could be one or two skills that are stopping your business from taking off. And the cool part about this business is actually relatively simple. It's relatively simple. It's marketing, sales, and recruiting. And so once you know how to market and you can sell and you can recruit and you do it all at the same time, you can grow a big business. Now, the fourth skill is the sustainability. Can you teach somebody else how to market? Can you teach somebody else how to sell? Can you teach somebody else how to hire? And when you can teach those skills to somebody else, that's how you can consistently grow your business because you are out of the equation. Because when you get emotional and you want to just blow shit up, you can't because you're not involved. When you have a sick day, when you get the Norton virus or norovirus or whatever you want to call it, like it doesn't matter. Go take a nap. The clients don't even know that you're sick. The cleaners don't even know you're sick. Nobody knows you're sick. Like that's what you want. Get out of the way. And then just become the coach for the people who are doing the marketing, sales, and recruiting. And that's the cleaning business in a nutshell. It's just that simple, right? And these skills stack. And so that's the key though, is like you can't just like take your eye off the ball on marketing if you're learning sales. You have to do marketing and sales. And then you have to do marketing, sales, and recruiting. You have to do and you have to keep going. Now you have marketing, sales, and recruiting. You have to keep all of them going at the same time. And this is where people struggle because they just want to do like one or the other. They're like, I got this, and this. And it's like, stop. You must do these three things. Like these are the most important things you can do. And that's why coaching and that's why hiring other people as well. Like that's why hiring cleaners is important. Like if you guys are cleaning, if you're still cleaning, by God, you're never gonna you can't have the capacity to learn marketing, sales, and recruiting because you have to still clean. So again, this is depending on where you're at in this equation. Okay. If you're having to train new cleaners, again, you're out of the position of being able to market, sell, and hire. So that's why your business is growing. So now I'm trying to step back for everybody in here. Okay. Eventually, you have to have somebody else. First step, you got to have people clean for you. Second step, you got to be able to have trainers that train for you. And then you must learn how to market, you must learn how to sell, and you must learn how to hire. And then eventually you can bring an office person in. You can teach them how to sell and then teach them how to hire. And really, marketing, once you understand it, it doesn't take a ton of time, but like that'll be the thing that you will keep as a business owner forever. So really, you really only have to teach sales and hiring to the next office person, and then you're just coaching that person on how to sell, how to hire. And that's the cleaning business. Kitty, am I missing anything?
No, consistently do all three
Oh,
things.
consistently. That's the word. Yeah, you have to consistently do all those things. And so I believe it's so much easier if you are just a consistent human and consistent humans are able to apply those habits they have into their business. And so if you're not a consistent human, then you're like, this is hard. It's like, yeah, because you're chaotic. You go to bed at a different time. You wake up at a different time. You sleep in different places of your home. Your phone's never charged. You eat different foods. You have no schedule. You're impulsive. Somebody else runs your life, like your kids or your spouse or somebody else, your mom. I don't know. Like, so there's even a step before this where you got to take care of yourself before you can actually take care of this business. And this business is a direct reflection of you and your standards in your life and what you're willing to tolerate. I think that the sooner that I understood that it was free. I was like, okay, I'll just be a better human. I can do that. I'll work on becoming a better human. And even if my business isn't successful, at least I'll be a better human. I can live with that. That's a game that even if I lose, I win. Even if business is successful, but I'm a better human, I consider that a win. Again, back to this idea. I only play games. My goal is to only play games that even when I lose, I win. Even my business doesn't win, but I become a better human. Is that a trade-off that I'm willing? Like, am I okay losing that game? Cool. So, all right, guys. So appreciate you guys for showing up today. Seriously, thank you guys. A lot of OGs on here today. I don't know if there's even any outliers on here today. I call outliers. Any non-homies on here today. I don't think there is any non-homies on here today. So appreciate you guys for showing up today. Showing up, showing out. Thank you guys for giving a crap about your business. Thank you guys for giving effort. And yeah, the reason that Kate and I do this is to just show you what's possible and to show you that like if we can do it, you can do it. And one of the things that has like been it's like really evident in my mind right now. So this weekend, this weekend coming up, I'm actually speaking at an event. It's the first event I'm speaking at ever, so it's kind of fun, kind of exciting, be in front of 500 strangers. It'll be cool. But the presentation, I think like the part that I'm like super excited to share with people is everybody in here works hard. Just like everybody in that room I'm going to be in on Saturday works hard. But not everybody in this room right now and in that room on Saturday are going to have $1 million businesses. And you guys know why? It's because you're working hard on the wrong things. And that was the biggest mistake that kept me from actually building $1 million business. And so that's the reason that I showed this meeting, this vision sheet with you guys, is to show you the things that actually matter. The things that if you work hard on, your business will grow. So it took me 9 years to build my first $1 million business. 9 years. And now I'm going to build a bunch of them really quick because now I know what to focus on. And so my goal is to help shortcut that process. You guys don't have to spend 9 years. You guys can shortcut that process. It can only be 2 years or 3 years. Sorry if it takes you 4, right? But like shorten the process. It's by working hard on the right things. So thank you guys for showing up here today. And now you guys know what to work on. So like say no to everything else. Work hard on learning how to market, sell, and recruit. And get yourself in a situation where you can be the person who understands those 3 skill sets. So it means if you're cleaning, get out of the cleaning field, hire cleaners. If you're training, hire trainers. So you can focus on the 3 things that are going to change your business's life. And it's going to change your life. Excuse me. It's going to change your life. Okay. And then the last step of that is just teaching somebody else how to do it, which is, you've already done it. So now you just got to teach somebody how to do it. That's something that every single person here can do. Can every person in here teach something that you learned how to do yourself? Is that a reasonable ask? Is that a reasonable ask? All right, guys. Happy Monday. If you guys are an advisor, see you guys on the next call. For everybody else, see you guys on tomorrow's call, the road to 300K. Thank you guys for showing up today. Happy Monday. All right, guys. Bye.